This is a Danish English latest on immigration. The UK tightens passport controls as reform proposes mass deportations. New digital travel rules for Denmark in 2026. Today's story covers two major developments that could affect Danes living in Britain and British citizens traveling to Denmark. From new passport control requirements in the UK to sweeping political proposals and fully digital border systems across Europe, the rules around movement are changing fast. If you're a Dane in the UK, a Brit in Denmark, or simply someone navigating post-Brexit Europe, this is essential information you need to know. Let's break it down. Tuesday, February 24th, from midnight, new requirements apply at British passport control, marking another step in a broader tightening of migration and border procedures in the UK. For Danes and other EU nationals living in Britain, the political debate around immigration is also intensifying. Reform UK has announced sweeping proposals that could directly affect foreign nationals with settled status, including Danish citizens. The party's Home Affairs spokesperson Zia Youssef is said to outline plans to scrap indefinite leave to remain (ILR) and replace it with a renewable 5-year work visa with a high salary threshold. In practice, this could mean that tens of thousands of people who currently have permanent residence rights, including Danes who have built lives and careers in the UK, would need to requalify periodically to stay. Reform also proposes creating a new I-style body, UK Deportation Command, with the capacity to detain up to 24,000 migrants at a time and carry out as many as 288,000 removals per year, using 5 deportation flights daily. As of April 2024, the UK had around 2,500 detention spaces, meaning the expansion would represent a dramatic and costly increase in infrastructure. The party further pledges to leave the European Convention on Human Rights (ECHR) and impose a legal duty on the Home Secretary to remove illegal migrants. Nigel Farage's party also plans to expand stop and search powers and diversity initiatives in police forces, ban the conversion of churches into mosques, and refocus the government's de-radicalization program prevent exclusively on Islamist extremism. The Muslim Brotherhood would be proscribed. Youssef is expected to blame former Prime Minister Boris Johnson for rising net migration, arguing that granting ALR creates long-term access to taxpayer-funded benefits. Official figures show ILR holders account for around 2.7% of universal credit claimants, with at least a third in employment. Labour has sharply criticized the proposals. Party chair Anna Turley described them as decisive and fundamentally un-British. Meanwhile, the Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood has proposed expanding the ILR qualifying period from 5 to 10 years rather than abolishing the status entirely. How travel between the UK and Denmark has changed. While UK domestic policy is under debate, British citizens travelling to Denmark are also navigating a transformed European border system. Denmark is part of the Schengen Area, and since Brexit, British citizens are treated as third country nationals. To understand the scale of change, it helps to compare 3 distinct eras. First, the pre-Brexit era before 2021. Freedom of movement. Before the UK left the EU, travel between Britain and Denmark was straightforward and largely frictionless. Freedom of movement. British citizens had the right not just to visit, but live, work, and study in Denmark without a visa. Fast-track entry. Travelers use EU, EEA lanes at airports, often passing quickly through automated e-gates. No time limits. There were no 90-day restriction. A British citizen could stay indefinitely without worrying about overstaying. No stamps. Passports were not stamped and no entry-exit clock was running. ID card travel. Entry was often possible with a national ID card instead of a passport. For many, this period is remembered as a golden age of seamless European mobility. Second, the post-Brexit stamping era, 2021 through 2025, manual control. After Brexit formally ended freedom of movement, travel became more restrictive but was still largely analog. 90, when 80th day rule introduced, British citizens could stay in the Schengen area for up to 90 days within any 180-day period. Physical passport stamps. Each entry and exit required an ink stamp from a border guard. These stamps were the only official record of the time spent in Schengen Zone. Manual queues. British travelers typically joined the all passports line rather than EU fast-track lanes, leading to longer waits. Discretionary checks. Border guards could ask for proof of onward travel, accommodation, travel insurance, or sufficient financial means. No pre-travel authorization. There was no online pre-approval system like ETIAS. Travelers simply arrived at the airport with a valid passport. Enforcement relied heavily on human discretion. A border guard might overlook a minor passport validity issue or interpret rules flexibly. Third, the fully digital era from 2026, automation and pre-approval. Since 2026, Europe has moved toward a far more automated system. Two major systems define the new framework. European Travel Information and Authorization System, ETIAS. Entry-Exit System, EES. ETIAS, Pre-Travel Authorization. British citizens must now obtain ETIAS approval before traveling to Denmark or other Schengen countries. Application: online before departure. Cost: approximately €20, free for under 18s and over 70s. Validity: 3 years or until passport expiry. Boarding control: airlines verify ETIAS approval before allowing passengers to board. Without approval, travelers can be denied boarding at the airport. EES biometric border checks. The entry-exit system replaces physical passport stamping. Biometric data collection. Fingerprints and facial images are captured at automated kiosks. Digital records. Entries and exits are logged automatically in a central EU database. Automatic calculation. The 90-180th day rule is monitored digitally. Reduce discretion. Computer systems, not individual officers, determine compliance. What has actually tightened? The core travel rules, 90 days in 180, passport validity requirements have not fundamentally changed since 2021. Let's look at what has changed in enforcement. Then, from 2021 through 2025. human checks, physical stamps, no pre-approval, some discretion at the border. Now the current rules of 2026. Mandatory digital authorization, ETIAS. Biometric verification, EES. Automated calculation of permitted stay. Airline level enforcement before departure. In the past, a passport expiring in 2 months might be overlooked by a sympathetic guard. Today, airline systems automatically block check-in if documentation does not meet strict criteria. The bigger picture. Together, these developments reflect two parallel trends. First, stricter political debate and proposed migration reforms in the UK. Second, increasingly digitalized and automated border management in Europe. For Danes in Britain and Britons traveling to Denmark, mobility remains possible, but it is now more regulated, more digital, and less dependent on human discretion than at any point in recent decades. As borders become more digital and political debates over migration intensify, staying informed has never been more important. Whether it's UK immigration reform, Schengen travel updates, ETIAS requirements, or new passport control rules, Danish Info News TV brings you the facts clearly and without confusion. For more reports, make sure to subscribe to Danish Info News TV, turn on notifications, and share this video with friends, family, or colleagues who may be affected. Stay informed. Stay prepared. We'll see you in the next update.